Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Cultist back again with another logic video. Today we're going to be covering the subject of how to create a charge attack. We're doing it with a melee attack rather than a ranged attack, but I feel like you could use this same mechanic for a ranged attack. Now I'm going to go over a couple things real quick. I've put both of our poses and jump animation chips inside another microchip, which I label animations. This is so I can turn those off easily. I've also put the puppet interface inside a chip so that I can connect power easily to the chip without having to open up the puppet interface a lot. And I've got this little chip down here called parameters, which I've connected to the procedural animations. And I have an action recorder powering on animations. Normally animations is off, which is easy. Just use L1 and square, turn the power off with X, and then turn it back on again with an action recorder set to keyframe mode. And I've gone in here, let's go out, and connected these wires to procedural, of course. And I've also connected these to the run and such, the run and walk cycles, so that I can control the exact speed. And I've got this little handy-dandy attack chip here. I've got a node hooked up to another node with a NOT gate, and I'll talk about what the NOT gate is connected to in a bit. And we got a timer set to positional. 0.5 is the target time, although you could make it whatever you want, potentially. And I've got a switch. And all the switch does is connect to another timeline set to sustain. This one should also be set to sustain, by the way. And inside the timeline, I have an action recorder that prevents movement and procedural animations. Although I think I might just modify this slightly. Let's turn off procedural animations and turn off our run, set it to 0 so that we can only walk in this state. We can move slightly, it's just going to be drastically reduced. I've also taken the liberty of turning this off. And we've got a little animation for our charge up, our wind up or whatever. Set to sustain, of course. And we've got this switch inside the timeline, which connects to a node with a NOT gate in it, and a timeline set to play once. And this is basically our attack node inside another timeline with a switch for the duration of the attack. Put this in here and it will judge how long your attack is going. We've got a little damage modifier in here set to hurt foe, and this fellow's labeled foe, as you can see here. And we've got a sound effect and this thing here. An animation, of course, but this action recorder shuts off the power to our wind-up animation and our ability to attack. So when we do a single attack, we won't be able to wind up anymore, and we won't be able to, move. Which I think is ideal. I've also got this little timeline hooked up with a sound effect for when we impact, and a little splash effect for when we hit something. And all I did was take currently modifying and hook it up to this node. So it's a pretty simple affair, but that's our single hit, which is hooked up to this switch. And the way it works is, when we hold down R1, it's going to cycle through this timeline. And then when we stop holding R1, it's going to reset to the beginning. That's how the timer works. See, we've taken the output and we've hooked it up to this little gizmo here, just to demonstrate what this looks like. Timer output, X, hooks up to there. And now it is manipulated by how much time is on the timer. Now for our second little switch, which is here, I've taken the liberty of hooking the NOT gate up to it, as well as to the single attack to prevent, glitches and premature attacks. But basically, this secondary switch runs into a separate node labeled spin, which is the ultimate outcome of our charge attack. It's hooked up to this node with a NOT gate, yada yada yada, playback. Also, make sure to have timelines on top of the timelines and switches connected to them and have them set to sustain, but have the attack set to play once, the timeline that is. And there's our hit, the same as the other one. The only difference is now we have a spinning animation. I've also put a timeline on here with a health modifier, and it's more radial now. It's like in a big square around him. Although you could literally make it a cylinder if you wanted. I thought the square was fine though. And this timeline's set to loop, so you'll hit the enemy twice in a circular motion around himself. I think that a better way would probably be to connect some kind of chip to his weapon and actually have the hit collision be, more accurate, but this is the simplest way. And we've got the action recorder, which of course turns off the power to that, and the power to that just to make sure that our spin is uninterrupted. So let's go ahead and give it a try by holding L1. There he is. He's doing his wind-up. You could hold it indefinitely. We could move, although we might want to set procedural animations back on. Another thing I'm going to do real quick is add some sound effects. Yeah, we want our procedurals on because we should be able to walk at least. Although we will have to directly disconnect that. But I've got a way to do this. Just create another node, hook it up like so, and turn it off. So this way we'll still have procedural animations. We'll see his feet moving, but he can move around with it wound up. And there he's doing the spin. And if you're really close to him, you'll probably get 2 hits in. And this is the single hit. If you just tap R1, you'll get your single hit in, hold, you get your charge attack. There may be a better solution to this, but I think this one works pretty well. Relatively little logic for 2 different types of attack. But if anybody has suggestions in the comments about alternative methods or other things you'd like to see covered, we'd appreciate that. Thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts, leave a comment, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. If you would like to support us financially, consider clicking the join button to become a member and unlock perks. You can also leave a super thanks in the comments, which we would appreciate, or a one-time donation on Ko-fi, link in the description. That's all for now. Goodbye.